Microphone check. Microphone check. Therapy without a degree. Let's get these air horns off. Let's get these air horns. She could hear the air horns. That's what's even better. We get the gunshots going. So what's up, everyone? Therapy without a degree. Another chapter, another episode. I think we're at episode 188. So 188 episodes we hear. This week it is just myself along with our guest. Zane is stuck in ATL, right? So Zane is stuck there. Yeah. So he took a flight out there for some work and he got stuck because it's snowing a lot over here, bad in the city. Natalie is stuck home because we're all snowed in. And Tay is somewhere in North Carolina. So, but we got myself in the building. You guys already know, Joe Fucarino. And then we got a very special guest in the building. Yo, what up, KGoody?
Hello, 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 kings and queens, grand prosperity. Thank you for bringing me to the platform.
Yes, what's going on? How are you?
Blessed and highly favored. Thank you for asking. How are you doing over there?
I love that. Same as well. What's your shirt say? I slay. What's your
superpower? Yes.
Yo, that is so fire. Hold on. You already know. You already know what's coming. You need some of that because, okay, so real quick. Where did you hear that term superpower?
Oh, Marvel Comics. And it was a question somebody asked me, what is your superpower? And my superpower is I slay, and not just in hair and everything and every aspect of my life, I slay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that energy. Slay, right? Word. Now,
Yes.
no, because it's funny because I've heard that term as well too. Obviously, Marvel and all those different type of things, right? But it's like, when we're kids, we hear about these superpowers and stuff like that. But we kind of, that term, when you're a young adult, you just stop thinking about that term. So it's like, as an adult though, now, like I'm a firm believer of that, of everyone having their own superpower. I heard of it through like a podcast. So it was like, and it kind of brought that back to life. So I was just curious to like what.
Yeah, I think it's important because as we become adults, we lose that childlike imagination that allowed us to dream big and manifest things that were in some ways impossible. Even just my life is a manifestation of what somebody else may call impossible. So I try to make sure that in every turn, I remind myself I slay, and that's my superpower.
That's powerful. Yeah, word. Yeah. All right. So I see you're from New York, right?
No, not essentially. My parents are, and I have a lot of connections up there.
Oh, you tricked me with the 646.
Well, when I first started my business, branding was something that I kept at the forefront. So if you read my phone number out at 6468 KGoody. And I'm fortunate enough that New York was the only area code that had that those letters at the end of the number.
That's fire. So wait. How long have you had your brand?
Since 2018.
So you actually did the research and you were like, yo, I'm gonna see which ones is like the KGoody. Like, I gotta look at your number real quick. This is crazy. This is fire. That's dope.
I actually found one for Orlando too, so I keep it for my personal assistant.
Okay. So where are you from right now?
Right now, I'm working out of Orlando, Florida.
Okay. How you like it?
Weather's nice.
Yeah. She's like, we ain't stuck in the snow over here.
No, we chilling. We got a beautiful day. It was 71 degrees outside, so you really didn't even need a jacket. It was nice.
Yeah, we gotta go to Florida.
Yeah, y'all need to pull up.
I need to move. I need to pull up with the U-Haul. That's what I need to do. Nah.
That's what a lot of people do come out here from New York and up north. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is home. This what I'm planning to do is my serious goal in life is to be a snowbird. Like leave for the winters. Like I still want to be here for the summer and the fall, and even like the beginning of the winter. Like around Christmas time and stuff. But a very serious goal of mine is to just be out just for the winters. You know what I'm saying?
You can make it happen. Just get those residual incomes up and start making a little bit more money in your sleep, and you can happen very quickly.
Exactly. That's the goal, yo. That's how we got to do things. Because I am not like, yo, this is depressing. Like it's just like today we got like 16 inches of snow. This is crazy.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that is a little bad, but
Yeah, right after this call, I'm gonna get ready to go shovel. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'll be doing all night. I'm prep. This is my prep. This is my
You
prep.
brave, because that's not what it sat there.
Yeah, she's like, I would have sat there for me until that shit melted off. Nah,
Yeah, you don't put salt down.
yeah, but it's that salt don't do nothing.
It's not gonna do nothing. Oh
Girl,
man.
nah, it does not for this much snow. Not for this much snow. When it's like 2 inches, it's literally like 16 inches out there.
Oh wow. Yes,
16.
that's
That's like
tall.
that's
That's
like
tall.
a,
That's
like a
a
foot and a
foot and a
half.
half. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy. So, you know, that's why I'm just like that. Like a little inch or two, that's cool. You put a little salt, it just go away real quick. Even though I'm not a fan of ice, I'm sick of all this stuff. But what did you do all day today before this pod? What'd you do? What you been up to?
Oh, on the computer, working on my PPP and credentials for my minority-owned business, and making sure I got my email sent out because I am relaunching my website on the Shopify platform. So I'm doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work on that.
Word, yeah, that is dope. I've been doing a lot of work on Shopify as well. I do websites for people. I do like website development. And
Oh wow!
Shopify, yeah, Shopify is the where to go. I was actually just before I was on a call with a friend is at the same time as Jay, and teaching her the Shopify and stuff like that. Shopify is super powerful, and
It
it's
is, but it's hard to understand. It's not if you've been. I've been doing this in GoDaddy for the last few years, and they're very point and click. And if you get lost, you can call them no matter what time it is. But Shopify doesn't offer those capabilities, so you kind of like got to pay attention.
You can call Shopify. You can call
Really?
them. Yeah, they're actually really good, and it's funny because I didn't know that. I didn't know it was like that. And I called one year because I've been working with Shopify for about 3 years now. I use pretty much them and Squarespace for all my clients. So depending on the client, I'll 9 times out of 10 that was Shopify. But and also it's now Shopify has so many things. This is not even an ad to it. Shopify pay me, but it's like I didn't even know you could change the code.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could and so now I'm learning coding, and it's like it's crazy.
That's the thing is last year I taught myself coding. So when I was going through the Shopify, in order to build the pages, it's damn near coding if you want certain things on your page instead of just writing. So I was able to just smoothly work through those things. It was the product additions and connecting the applications. That's what holds me up a little bit more. So I just have to build my quick links page, and then I'm ready to go and make sure I want to add a couple of apps. But send me that number, bro.
Yeah, I gotta find it. I mean, I haven't used it. It's somewhere. I'll look for it.
Yeah.
I haven't used it in a while, but I'll never forget. Like I definitely called for one time when I had a basic ass question or something like that, and they were like, and you know what I loved? It was a person from here that was
Really?
like, yeah, it was actually like good customer
You
service.
just
Yeah.
won me. You just won me.
Yeah, exactly. We all know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just difficult. Like I'm all for, like I'm never one of those people that are like, against, stuff like that. Like, people working in other countries and all that. But it's like at the same time, it's like, all right, we got to be able to understand it.
Yeah, outsourcing is a good thing, but if they're not able to understand general questions, then you need to start looking for other things. I was just on the phone with T-Mobile for like 2 hours, and I got frustrated and just hung up the phone because the young lady couldn't understand the questions I was asking her. So it was crazy.
Yeah, those companies are so bad. Like I actually worked for T-Mobile. Well, now it's Sprint. It's now T-Mobile. I worked for that company for years, and they used to even give us problems. Like even like managers. Like I was a store manager, and I used to like curse them out. Now because they're so bad that like they're so bad. So like you would give a customer a deal, they wouldn't know the deal, wouldn't explain the deal. Then the customer always calls, right? So you go home and you start calling customer service, and then they just say like the whole opposite of what it is.
Yes.
And it's just the biggest confusion.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
but yeah, we'll definitely talk about the Shopify stuff. Hold on one sec. We got this on here. Let's do a Clubhouse room. Word. We'll do that. Actually, yeah. Speaking of Clubhouse, how have you been enjoying Clubhouse?
It's addicting, to say the least. I had to like pause off of Clubhouse and everything for a minute so I can get what I need to get done for my business, because you'll go down a rabbit hole and be on that thing like 24 hours. You've seen a whole 24-hour cycle. Like, what the heck am I still doing in this room? But yeah, when I first got on the first couple of days, it was very intriguing because I was excited about the narrow line. We now have the okay, how do you explain it? The degrees of separation between yourself and somebody in a certain industry or field that you probably never would have had a chance to make contact with. Those barriers are completely gone as far as Clubhouse is concerned. So it gives you a chance to really network with people in different fields and different industries that will put you in contact with people that can help push your brand forward. Like our conversation right now. I don't think if we hadn't met in Clubhouse, I probably would have never tuned in to even know what you do or anything like that. So
like we would have never. It's crazy because, you know, I love the internet and I love like networking and things like that, but it's like this is just taking it to a whole nother level.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
What I like about it is that it kind of cuts out the fat a little bit, you know, like
in some ways.
Yeah. At least, I mean, every day though, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And that's another thing I try to tell people is that, you know, we only have this app for a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Before it's out of beta testing.
Yeah. And also before there's too many people on it and it's just going to get crazy. So we have to kind of take advantage of it now, you know?
Yeah.
But it's cool because as of right now, or at least also in the beginning, it's like you cut out a lot of the fat. So it's like you're talking with people that, like when I'm on there and I'm in a room and I mention things, I drop, you know, little gems that I have and stuff like that because I know people are really going to take it seriously. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because for the most part, there's like actual creators and entrepreneurs and stuff there.
Yeah.
You know versus definitely. Like, you know, you go on Instagram and stuff like that. It's cool, but there's also just a lot of people that are just on there for entertainment.
Yeah, it's a lot of fluff on Instagram too. A lot of fake it till you make it, if you will. But that's what you have to also be mindful of on Clubhouse. Make sure you do your research before you actually engage into creating business ventures or sending money or sending product and things like. Make sure you do your research and you're dealing with an actual company and not somebody who just opened up an Instagram real quick so that way they looked fancy.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I have
something
come in
basic.
contact with that, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, but you just have to really know how to do your research and use discernment when it comes to things like that.
Word. I feel you. So for you, how long have you been doing the business? KGoody?
Yeah, KGoody Collection.
KGoody Collections, right?
KGoody Collection. I've been doing hair. I started doing hair probably at the end of 2015, 2016 full time. Before that, I was I am a retired street pharmaceutical representative. So that's the industry I worked in before I started working in hair care. So once I came into it, it really was like my second chance. It was my way out of the streets. It was my opportunity to no longer have to look over my shoulder. So I just saw it as opportunity to work without a boss. And it actually picked up quite quickly. And soon enough, PayPal either let me know I was going to have to open up some sort of business entity or end up in prison again for tax fraud. And so I just moved forward. And within the first year, 2018, I got my LLC.
Hold on, I don't want to move past that. So you said actually PayPal literally reached out and said, "Yo, we getting too much money here."
Yeah.
How'd they do that, via email or something like that? Or
Yeah, email. I got an email from them let me know that I capped out a little bit too much through their merchant.
Through that of sending and receiving.
Yes.
That's interesting. That's like, I don't think a lot of people probably realize that. I wonder, do you think like Cash App has that type of stuff?
Yeah, I think that people don't realize that every time you send and receive money, that those tallies are being collected. And at the end of the year, in order for their company to stay in compliance, they have to send a breakdown and statements of all the transactions that were made. So people easily get gun shy or don't even realize that if you're taking in $20,000, $30,000 worth of money through no Cash Apps, they're not considered business income for one, and two, you're going to be liable to a higher tax liability by taking in money of that nature, especially when Cash App and things of that nature are not really merchants. Yeah. So once I started to understand tax laws and stuff like that, because you got to keep in mind, before I opened my own company, the IRS had never received any type of tax documents from me whatsoever. I'd never filed income tax. I had never held a job long enough to receive a W-2. So it was just literally out of nowhere, over $60,000 worth of income was coming into my name, and they wanted to know where the hell it came from. Yeah. Exactly. So I literally just immediately opened up my LLC as a gift to myself January of 2018.
Hey, look at that. Fire. We're getting some air horns, some gunshots for you. Look at that. Beast. I like it. Now, So with that now, it's like, you know, because a lot of times people don't know. So like, what could you really tell our listeners that maybe want to start a business, right? As far as that, as far as like writing things off and the taxes and stuff like that. Like, what's been your experience with that?
My experience with it is don't trust a nigga who ain't got no business. If you're listening for tax advice from a person who actually doesn't own a business and is not paying tax liabilities regularly, don't listen to them. Because I got into a little bit of a jam by thinking, okay, I'm a new business. I got the first 3 years to not pay taxes. And just in case it turns into a hobby and not a business. And that's basically a limbo law that they give you. And a lot of times people think, okay, I got 3 years, I can't pay taxes. But here we come in 2020, we hit COVID. So praise God that I had just opened my business in 2018, and I was very diligent about keeping track of my records and my financial statements, that I was able to compile the information necessary to file my tax documents to be eligible for EDL loans and different grants and everything that were coming available for minority-owned businesses. But my counterparts, who was receiving all their money through Cash App payments or Zelle payments or, under the table, they weren't able to comply or to be eligible for those things. So I just tell you wholeheartedly, pay your taxes quarterly and do your research. Me being a person, I was like the first in my family to open up a legitimate business that was sustainable. Yes, my dad owns a barbershop, but no shade, just I could have more money than him my first year. So that's just from doing hair. And it's probably because, people cut hair. Cut hair is like a $20 service, and my services range from starting at $125 and up. So if you imagine, if I'm killing at least 21 heads a week, what I'm pulling in. So
yeah, because you're not doing like $20 haircuts,
No.
Yeah.
I'm pulling in numbers that made me liable for a larger tax bracket, and I just didn't realize how it could have impacted me if I had not done things properly to begin with. I actually took the time and sat down and I compiled a book. It's a workbook. It's a comprehensive workbook to teach you how to take anything from idea phase all the way into selling on e-commerce, because my second year, last year, we just actually got the products on Walmart.com. So my product is the only Black-owned product that is handmade being sold on Walmart.com.
Yeah, some gunshots for you. We got Tay in the building. Like I said, Tay's somewhere in North Carolina. Looks like we found him. What up, Tay?
Yes, sir. What's going on, boy? I got my phone on the charger right now, so I'm just using my headphones.
Oh, okay. If we get some video in, man, let's get some video in you a little bit.
Hold on, I'm gonna come on real quick.
There he is.
Yo, can you see me?
What's going on?
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Yes,
same here. Nice to meet you.
Dropping
what's going
gems.
on with you guys, man?
She's over here dropping gems. She just said the first product. You know what? You need to say it one more time for the people in the back. So for the product in Walmart and
the first handmade Black-owned product that's distributed on Walmart.com. Usually Walmart.com distributes manufactured, heavy distributed products, but I was the first to be accepted onto that platform.
What's the name of your product?
KGoody Collection. You can find us on KGoodyCollection.com, just the way it's spelled here behind me, double K. And the book is on there now. It's on sale right now for everybody in the audience for $4.44. So if you know anything about numerology, it is your season. This is your opportunity. And I just want to bring as many people to the table as I can along with me. I wholeheartedly believe in building people up while I'm on my way up, rather than waiting until I get to the top to start to bring people with me.
There you go. Yeah, I like it.
100%. I always say that too. Like, the stuff we learn on the way on the journey, like, you can definitely help people with that. Like, you don't have to wait until you're at, some like legendary status to help people then. Like, there's value in helping people now through your journey and through your failures and all that type of stuff.
Oh, it's completely important. In order for you to continue to get poured into, your cup has to be empty. So I empty my cup out as much as I can so the Lord can continue to pour into my benefits and into my prosperity, so that I can continue to work towards a difference for my people.
Word. Now, you were saying that you keep track of the expenses, because Tay, just to fill you in, so we were talking about, like with the expenses and just writing off the things on your taxes, like being familiar with that, actually creating an official LLC, right? So it's like, now, how do you keep track? Do you do it yourself? Do you have someone else do it, or what?
No, I actually have an app that keeps track of everything for me, because I found that to be hard to do, keeping receipts and things like that. Let me see if I can find the app. It's an app that I use.
A lot of people here tell me about QuickBooks. I don't know.
QuickBooks is kind of expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's very expensive. I pay this app, I think, less than $20 a month. And what it does is every time I swipe my card, it asks me, is this a business expense? And if it is, it just keeps it tally. And they actually categorize everything, whether it was for education or if it was for overhead costs. It just tallies everything up. So when it's time to hand everything over to my accountant, I literally just hand her a printout and my statements, and I'm done.
You said
Where the first year, I got to find the app.
Yeah, fine. We'll plug it in just so you know. Never know, people maybe want to download it. Now, so basically, it just goes based off of your card. So your card that you use for your business.
I might have to do it because I know it's on the phone that I'm on. Hold on a second.
Yeah. We'll check that out.
Tax Keeper. That's the name of it.
Tax Keeper?
Yes, Tax Keeper.
Oh, so you sign up with your card. And
yeah, you're gonna log into. Excuse me. Once you sign in, they'll let you try it for the first month or 14 days for free, and you log into it, and then you just log into wherever you do business transactions. And that's one thing I can tell people: separate your money. You understand what I'm saying? What your business makes needs to go in its own separate account. And one thing that I learned that nobody else taught to me is you have the date that your business organization does not start until the date you open up your business checking account. So when you go to apply for loans, you go to apply for grants, it doesn't matter if you open your business back in 2013 and if you didn't open up that checking account to 2018, that's the time they're going to start your credit. That's the time they're going to start your articles of organization to be complete, is the date that you open up your business checking account. So it's important to make sure you do those like boom, boom. You don't want to wait and hold it off. Keep the money separate. So that way, when it comes time to do taxes and things of that nature, you're able to show where the money was spent and how it was allocated. And that was one of the things that I had to learn very quickly. Praise God, I got white friends.
Hey, even some of us white people don't know because I don't be knowing that. I know the marketing and the branding and all that. When you talk about the finance stuff,
I used to sell oxygen. So one of the places I sold oxygen at, I was setting up.
You sold oxygen, girl. I want to know how to sell oxygen.
I told you I'm a retired street pharmaceutical representative. I can sell anything to anyone, and I used to sell oxygen. I was one of her top sales reps. Every time it was a big festival, she sent me out there. And when I went one day I went and the table dropped on my foot, and I'm a person who doesn't wear sneakers. So I damn near broke my toe, and one of the owners of the restaurant came out, older Jewish man, Mr. Charlie, and he sat out there with me. He even brought me a pair of socks and had one of his employees sit out there with me all night so that way I didn't have to get off the chair. And he kept in touch with me since then. And when he found out I was opening a business, he literally sat down with me and showed me schematics of running taxes and explained to me things. And I had an opportunity to participate in an accelerated business course that also gave me a little bit of a heads up. And I'm just grateful because I don't think that anybody in my situation would have thought some of the things that God has put in front of me to be possible.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. And, with that as well, too, did you feel like you started learning a lot of like business credit type of stuff as well, too, like to get credit for your business?
Yeah, honestly, I learned about credit altogether because, like I said before, I was in the streets. So I had never had anything in my name. I never had any credit cards. Nothing was on my credit report at all. I had literally probably 3 doctor bills, totally less than $5,000. So when I went to different banks and things of that nature to apply for business acclimates and credits and grants, the first year, nobody was even giving me any type of play because I had no history. So that's when I had to go in and navigate my way through building a credit score. And within 2 years, I was able to get my score up to 700 and get my
personal or business?
Personal.
Okay.
Personal. And I got my business credit score is a B in some of the marks, but Dun & Bradstreet is an A-.
So what was the first thing you felt that you did for your business credit?
I opened up merchant accounts, and that's the biggest thing that you have to do is and get that Dun & Bradstreet number. Dun & Bradstreet number is not something that the Black culture speaks a lot about. And it's basically a social security number for your business. It's something that's very easy to attain. It is free. So even if they tell you, you just pay me this amount of money and I can get it faster and I can help you and don't pay for it, it's absolutely free.
What is it called?
And Dun & Bradstreet number, you can look it up on Google. Once you get that EIN, the second step should be the Dun & Bradstreet number, because when you do go to open up your business checking account, instead of using your social security number as a guarantor, you can use that Dun & Bradstreet number as a guarantor. So that it's going to give you like a second co-signer, like your business is co-signing for you when it comes to certain things. And that's immediately going into different merchants that will offer net 30, net 60 accounts, a Vistaprint, Uline, Quill, just different things like that, and open up those merchant accounts and make sure I paid them off on time. And that gave me 100% payment history. And now I'm getting boatloads of people coming to me offering me credit cards and things of that nature.
But when you did that, right? So when you did that with the Vistaprint and those merchant cards, were those only through the business, or did they ask for any of your personal information?
Not credit wise. They literally only just asked for my personal information as to who do they need to speak to on behalf of the company. One thing that I can say is, if you're running a business out of your house, get a virtual address, a virtual business address, because if you go to try to sign up for anything and you're using a residential address that doesn't have any commercial zoning attached to it, you're going to get denied immediately. So me finding out that little tidbit, I went online on Google and found a virtual address in California for $10.
Yeah, I just heard
that
about
$10
that.
investment saved me a lot of money and actually opened up doors for me that I didn't realize were going to be closed if I didn't have it. So that virtual address, I still have it today at a cost of $10, but it made it so that my business on paper appeared as to be a bi-coastal business.
Wow.
Yeah. So the goal was to kind of like set it up from the beginning, from the ground floor, to appear as a huge corporation was being instituted, not somebody sitting in, literally when I did it, I was homeless, working out of my car.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know how it is. You know what I mean? It's like, and those are gems for people. I guarantee people don't know. Tay, have you ever heard about that? Tay, have you ever heard of like people using a virtual address?
No, when I heard it, I was looking. I was like, so is that? I was about to ask, is that kind of like having a online brick and mortar in a sense, where it's like you have a storefront, but not really.
Exactly.
So okay.
Exactly.
So
Now, if you plan on, it just depends on what you want to use it for. You can do it something that's local to you, because those virtual address will collect packages and mail. Because, like, say for instance, with my salon, I ordered a sink, a freestanding sink. And because the new property that I'm in is residentially zoned, they wanted me to have it shipped to a commercially zoned place. I figured out they still brought it where I wanted them to bring it. That's not the point. The point is that if I had to, I could have had it sent to that virtual address to be compliant to receive, the token things. Because some companies will want that first shipment to go to whatever business is listed. So that's the reason why you're going to open up the virtual address, but don't list it as your actual business location. Just list it as one of your offices, if you will. You understand what I'm saying? So it's
kind of
as
like
if
an
you have
offsite.
two. Boom, there you go. Okay. So if you're applying for a certain credit, or if you're applying for a certain grant, and they say do not put a residential address, do not put a PO box, that's the address you're going to put there. So that way you'll still qualify. Your application is going to go through. They're not going to ask any questions. And then once you get on the line with the accounts receivable person, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be so happy to help you. As long as they can put the right information in the computer, they'll ship your shit wherever.
Oh, nice. I've never heard about it, and that's actually perfect timing to hear about it, because I've been looking into e-commerce and things like that, and I was looking into using my actual address. So that's actually something new that I've learned. So I appreciate that.
No problem. Just use your address with the government in the state, but make sure you have, because they're going to ask you, do you have a secondary address? So list that on there as well. So that way, and you could always go in, if you've already done your documents, you can always go in and update it. It's free. They're not going to charge you anything to update that.
Okay. Nice.
What about for the bank account? The bank account, do you have the actual address or the virtual?
I use both of them.
Use both, yeah. Yeah, that's super interesting.
Funny story about my bank account. I can talk about it now. My lawyer said I can talk about it now. When I first opened my company, I was a fugitive. So I didn't have any ID or anything like that. So that's why I always make it clear to tell people it's not about your net worth, it's about your network. And I don't like people to tell me, oh, I'm broke, I got to wait till I get this amount of money, or I got to wait till this happens so I do it. No, just do it. Because if the Lord gave you the vision, the provisions will be made. So at that moment, when I knew I had to open up a bank account, I kept thinking about like, how am I going to do this? And virtually, you can just go online and open up a bank account, but you cannot do that for a business account. You have to go into a branch if you want a legitimate bank account. Yeah. So I got on the phone with one of my clients and just told her what was going on. It was very transparent about my situation and the legalities of it. She called her husband. He called his accountant, who was direct friends with the bank manager, probably about an hour away from me. And she was like, if you come in now, we'll walk you through the process and open up your account. So they opened up 3 accounts for me that day with no ID, with nothing. And I tell this story because I don't want to try to like, you know, not to incriminate myself, but more or less to give somebody else hope to know that the DC number does not, you know, being a criminal or ex-con does not stop you from opening a business. It will not stop you from getting business credit. It will not stop you from being prosperous. Right now, my business is listed as a minority business with the government. Okay. So if they were able to give those type of credentials to me with a 64-page rap sheet, I don't think that anybody can stand in the paint with charges higher than what I have. I still was able to do it. So don't let anything stop you. Just go for it. The Lord will provide a way.
Exactly. And that's why we got to ask these questions, because it's like a lot of times people don't know. You know what I mean? People don't know that you could do these things. People don't know. People think that like a lot of times, like I've even tried to look it up, like, okay, how do I, because we started started the business like 4 years ago and they made it official only a year ago. But it's like, okay, at first it took me a while to even find a bank that didn't attach the personal credit to it. Everyone was like, okay, TD Bank was the way to go. TD Bank was the business one that they don't attach the personal credit to. So
Bank of America doesn't either.
Bank of America doesn't either?
Mm-mm.
That's good to know.
No, not unless you want to apply for business credit or something like that. But if you just open up a business checking account and your paperwork is all right, then you're good.
Yeah. And now it's the question of the business credit, because it's like everywhere you read, they're like, oh, well, it has to go with also your business credit.
I think that people who are more pressed on business credit are people who are scared of bootstrapping their business. You understand what I'm saying? Business credit does not, this is the secret that people are not going to tell you. You can't get no real business credit until your business has been in business for 3 years, period. You're not going to get it. You're not going to, unless you got a strong ass personal credit score and they're going to make you go as a guarantor. Until you've got 3 years of open business and actual statements to show that your business is making money, there's no way, there is no secret power to getting that stuff. That's a lot of times people be trying to trump up stuff so they can sell you on dreams and stuff like that. Don't believe that shit. Excuse my friend, but don't believe it.
No, you can curse on here as much as you want, girl.
Don't believe it. For real. Like you have to have been in business for 3 years for certain things. You're not going to go to Amex and apply for a $200,000 business loan or business credit card and think they're going to give it to you with you just opening your business last week. A lot of things were overlooked last year because we were in the middle of a pandemic. So don't let those legalities that were overlooked last year make you think that it's just easy to open up a business and you're going to be a millionaire in 6 months. No. The art of the pre-sale is a beautiful thing. And I don't think people take advantage of that. And make sure that your product or what you're bringing to market is something that people are going to spend money on. Don't invest a huge amount of money in inventory and marketing and all kinds of stuff. If you already built a team or a village around you that supports you in what you're doing, introduce it to them and see how it moves. And a lot of times people will pay for the pre-sale before you actually get the materials. That's what a Kickstarter is. And if you're dependent on money to make your dream come true, then you just might as well continue to call it a dream because there's no goal behind it. You have to put some actual effort into it. Anything can happen, and it doesn't take money. It just takes actual ingenuity and putting the things together. And all that stuff is covered in the book, $4.44. Go to KGoodyCollection.com, get you a copy. Okay?
Word. Let's go. Get it. Nah, and I'm a front. No, what were you going to say, Ty?
I was about to say, I'm going to need that book. It's crazy because everything that she's talking about, I was telling you I had did the e-commerce class, and it's crazy because everything that she's talking about was actually in the class. So I'm like, shit, if I spent money on getting that, why not spend some money on a book? So I definitely need that book. ASAP.
Yeah, it's a comprehensive workbook. It's best to download it onto a tablet or iPad because you can in the blank spots you can actually input your information and come back to it. The goal is so that you could always have something that you can come back to. And when it's time for you to apply for your business loans and et cetera, you already have a short form business plan writer in there. So everything that they're going to ask you for you to get your product on Walmart.com, eBay, Amazon or any of those other marketing platforms as a seller, you're going to go through those steps and you're going to have the answers to those questions by the time you get to the last page. And it also includes over 100 vendors. So if you don't know where you're going to get your stuff to sell, I give you all the vendors you need too. I also give you a toolbox full of information as far as how you get your shipping for a cheaper cost. Stop going to the post office and standing in line. That's not how a business does things.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm sick and tired of seeing people showing that shit on fucking social media. If you still going to the post office and standing in line, you are not a business. You should be able to print your labels off on the computer and the people will come pick it up at the front door. You could just drop it in the drop box. And for you to think that they're not going to give you a receipt, as soon as they scan it in, if you did your paperwork correctly, you should get a text or an email. So I don't want to hear none of this extra. People be doing stuff the hard freaking way. You're paying 65% more if you take it into the post office than you just opening that shipping account online.
Yeah, that's powerful too that you said that, because that's actually one thing I learned working for retail. So when I worked, and it was funny because, I've been in business now for a while. So I start putting things together. I'm like, yo, because you got to ship things out constantly. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at some of the prices. It's so much more affordable. Like I'm literally boxing up cell phones. Like I worked, and I'm boxing up heavy stuff, and UPS is coming and FedEx is coming to me. Just like you said, like they're coming to the store, and you could put any address, because sometimes I even had to do that out of my crib. Sometimes if I was off work the next day, people above me would be like, yeah, just bring it to your crib and put the address to your crib. They'll pick it up. And I'm just like putting two and two together. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like you said, the rates are so much better, and you don't even realize it. Like you don't have to go out of your way to do that. FedEx and stuff will literally come to your door.
And people, the Trojan horse is USPS. People try to always go at FedEx and UPS, but those are the higher cost, the higher end things. The post office will actually give you a business consultant. So when something goes wrong, a order doesn't make it to where you can go, you have a phone number of somebody you can call who's going to track the package for you, who's going to allocate any credits, going to make sure the insurance is covered, and even going to reach out to your customer on the post office behalf. But these are different things that people don't pay attention to because they're trying to wear too many hats. And that's one of the things I learned as a business owner. You have to be able to delegate and automate as much as you can. And shipping is so easy to automate. Your shipping is ridiculous. You just have to sit down on the computer for about 20 minutes and fill out the paperwork.
Yeah, that's another gunshot for that. I think everyone's gonna need that book.
Oh yes, it's called Learn the Blueprint to Retail. It's available on my website, KGoody Collection, double K, just like behind me. You can find it on KGoodyCollection.com, or you can even, my new venture is from Inmate to Influence. So you can go to inmatetoinfluence.com. It's going to direct you straight to the book there too.
Yeah. So I want to know a little bit about that. I want to jump into that. Like what motivated you to get to transition? You know what I mean? Like what took you to that? Because that's a tough mindset, and it's like, it's so powerful because there's so many other people in the world who have had lifestyles like that, but don't transition. So what for you was that, that really made you say, nah, I'm changing my life?
Honestly, it was somebody I was dating at the time. He was fed up with waiting for me to come in at night. And also I was really fed up. I was tired of the rat race that comes along with it. It's a very lonely life. You don't have the ability to make friends or just live, even if you're actually in it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people go into it because they like to floss and they like to, to display some type of fantasy. But for a lot of time, nobody knew that I was doing it, so I went to prison. And that's because I was very secretive, very quiet. And I also had businesses going at the same time to clean the money. So it was never something that somebody could say that I know that's what she's doing. It wasn't until the handcuffs were on me that the shit hit the fan and everybody found out this is what was going on. Yeah. So when I came home from prison, I had so much stuff going on in my personal life that I felt that was my only option. Because the reentry programs that were available for female inmates are small and nil, especially if you're not doing a sentence longer than 3 to 5 years. So they didn't give me any options as far as reentry, different state assistant programs. I didn't qualify for it because I refused to take the label as an addict. And so that just left me to where I had no other choice. Only thing that I knew how to do without me going to school or having to pay somebody some money to learn was brave. It was something that I was always good at. It was the way that I was able to get my commissary while I was in prison. And it was in my blueprint for what I wanted to do when I came home from prison before I left. But unfortunately, life just takes you out of the way. The goal was for me to just give it a shot. And I felt like selling drugs is what I was good at. You understand? So I didn't feel the need to do something else because I was so good at it. And it was just basically, when I first stepped into it, to be real blood raw honest, it was to prove everybody else wrong that I was better at selling drugs. But who knew that God was going to take the mindset that I had when I was in the streets. I just used it and flipped it for doing hair. And I was able to increase or surpass my competitors at a very quick rate. Just put it like that. Like even with social media, when I came onto Instagram in 2015, I didn't know anything about hashtags. I didn't know anything about posting on Instagram. I used to just come on there and talk shit. And I blew up to 10,000 followers really quick. And everybody's like, you got 10,000 followers? I was like, I didn't know that was a big deal. I just thought it was people follow me because they want to be my friend. You know what I'm saying? I was always a popular girl, especially in high school. I could go, because I moved around a lot. So any place I moved to, it was not hard for me to make friends. So I didn't think it was that big of a deal until other people started telling me, no, this is like a big deal. These are different things that are available to you at having 10,000 followers. So once I started to realize the power that came behind the platform that I was given, that's when I started to actually go for it, because somebody told me a really powerful statement. 6 months of focus can change your entire life. So I gave it 6 months of focus and I kicked out at 14K. And that was the end of 2019. And I reached out to who I now mentor, a Conundrum, on her news feed, just thinking, okay, because I host a vision board party every year for my birthday to give back to the community, if you will. It's a free event. I don't make anybody pay for anything. I do not allow anybody to come to this platform and sell anything to the attendees. If you're not providing something of value that you can give freely, then I don't want you in the building. So I reached out to a Conundrum on her timeline, and she just responded to me. And my event was the first event she ever attended publicly as a speaker. And that instituted a great relationship. She's now my mentor. I literally talk on the phone to somebody who I looked up to as, like my, my Shira, you know what I mean? Yeah. This is a person that I looked up to as a staple of how I wanted to conduct my business as far as integrity and things are concerned. So yeah, it was, I don't ever want anybody to think this was not planned. I did not plan this. God planned this. Yeah. Only thing I wanted to do, I didn't want to be in the streets anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So at first you did it just to prove that you can make more money in the streets at first. Mm-hmm. And then how quickly did you start to realize, oh wait, nah.
When I was spending as much time doing hair that I used to spend selling drugs, that's when I knew it was a mission, that this was some truth. And even with the product sales, I only did that just to up the ticket price when people came and get their hair done. It wasn't until a pharmaceutical company approached me with a check to try to buy my formulas. That's when I realized, bitch, you got something. You understand what I'm saying? That's when I started studying what vertical leverage, and started understanding, well, why are my competitors selling the same bottle of oil, not the same exact, but similar products for $35 a bottle, but I can sell mine for $8 to $10 a bottle. Why? So I started to understand is because they don't own their brand. They only own the name. They don't own the ingredients. They don't own the bottle. They don't own none of the packaging. They don't do any of the manufacturing, and I do everything in-house. So my margins are so low that I can compete with higher ranking product brands at a level that they can't kick me off my horse. I can drop my price on my oil down to $3 and still make a fucking profit. Nobody else I'm competing with can do that. So if you want to talk numbers, it was streets that made it possible for me to do that, because I understand how to flip a brick. While the other bitches, all they know how to do is, you know what I'm trying to say.
Of course, yeah. No. You get into that, girl. Nah, you definitely can. Yeah. You're right. That's powerful. So it's so once you started seeing that, you can make that same type of profit doing this.
Yeah, I started telling everybody who likes to be in the streets with, I was just like, look, bro, if you can do that, you can definitely do this. You're ahead of the curve, because what I started to see, especially when I'm looking at people who've been doing this for 20, 30 years, and I'm wondering, why are their products not in the beauty supply? So I went to the beauty supply and I put my products in there. You know what I'm saying? Why are their products not on Walmart? So I went to Walmart, and I actually, before I even got on Walmart.com, I went to Walmart with one of my products and I put it on the shelf. And I just sat there and I looked at it and I visualized myself with that, and I manifested that. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
and a week later, I got the application sent to me. I didn't go looking for this. Somebody sent it to me. This was like right when the pandemic, right when they shut us down. And I'm sitting on my couch like panicking because at that time I was fucking with a whole fuck nigga. He wasn't paying no bills. He wasn't doing nothing. I was paying for everything. And all I kept thinking is, I can't do no hair. So how I'm gonna pay for everything? But then God reminded me, bitch, you got a whole product line. You got 6 products that's sitting in there on a shelf waiting to be sold. So that's when I started promoting my product heavy. And then I got a link from somebody, one of the groups I'm in on Facebook, somebody just sent it to me out of random. So I filled out the application and got approved within a week. I was like, oh, what? So I didn't know that other people didn't get approved that quickly. I thought this was something that was a regular process for anybody until I spoke to my mentor. My mentor was like, girl, do you know that I've been dealing with people that have been waiting to get in there for years? How the hell did you do this? I was like, I didn't do anything special. I just was honest. You know what I'm saying? I've been myself. And I was able to show them proof of concept. That's the difference between me and everybody else. Like if you look at other brands who came out after me that have surpassed me as far as gross revenues are concerned, they did promotions, they did marketing campaigns. I didn't do anything. All of my sales have been organic and word of mouth. All of my reviews are from people who've actually paid money to spend to use the product, or promotion packages that I sent out. And honestly, the people who I sent promotion packages to, they didn't send me no reviews. But a couple of them, like 2 or 3, they sent me reviews back. So that was all product loss, because those same people who took the product samples now are selling products similar to what I sell. So you have to be careful and be knowledgeable about how you're moving, because just because you're not big doesn't mean that people are not paying attention. People are paying attention, because if you look at it, like the word pre-poo in 2018 wasn't anybody even using that word, but I branded pre-poo from the beginning, and now it's a widely known statement. Not to say that other people weren't using a statement similar to that or weren't saying those things, but it wasn't something that people were asking questions about. But that's what I'm saying. You gotta know, when you got a dream, make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do to back your shit, because people are paying attention. In the big brands, they watch the little brands that are coming up, because we're the ones with the ideas, not them. So you watch what you're doing and make sure you stay on your shit, bro. Because it's very easy for a person to come behind you and blow up off of your idea. But if you had taken the time to do proof of concept, actually make the sales, and they can blow up. I don't care. Whoever blow up off a pre-pool, I can't wait to come from. I can't wait to sue their ass, because I got credentials.
Exactly.
Okay?
You got
you know what I'm saying?
you got the docs, you got the
Exactly.
receipts.
I got all of that. If anybody comes for me, I got receipts for all of my stuff, because I own KGoody from the bottom to the top. Nobody could say that they assisted me in the branding, the marketing, even down to the labels. I made the labels on my cell phone, and this is the new label that I just did. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see this way. But anyways, you'll see it. It's on when the website gets updated.
Word.
But yeah, all my labels, my packaging, everything I did myself.
So what do you feel? So all right, how old were you when you started the business?
Like I'm 39 now, so 35.
Okay. So before that, those years, what do you think stopped you from doing what you do now? Like, what do you think it was? Like, what do you think when you were out there and you were, selling and shit, is like, did you ever get moments and be like, damn, maybe I could sell this, or maybe I could sell this? Like, what?
No.
What do you think it was? Anything in particular?
I think any person that's living on that side of the tracks, we always gonna have moments for a hot second that's gonna say, I don't feel like doing this. And then you get that big call, or you get that, you know what I mean? It's hard. I don't think that people realize that being the dealer is just as much an addiction as a person being a customer, because it's the chemistry that goes off when you go to a house and make $1,000 off of one transaction. There's the endorphins that squirt in your brain. I mean, ain't nobody job can do that. You know what I'm saying? And you have a good run, or shit. I could tell you some stories about some of the stuff that I experienced out in the streets that I don't think that if I had not experienced, I wouldn't even be able to be as strong as I am in some of the situations I'm in now. But there wasn't really, honestly, I'm telling you what, I went to college, bro. I'm not a stupid girl. I wasn't the dope boy's girlfriend or nothing like that. I was the plug. And it was not because I was ill-equipped for anything else. It was because I was good at it, and I legit like that shit. For real. Like, if it was legal, I probably would still be doing it because it's, you know what I mean. There's a science behind it. It's just like a stock trader or something. When you find something like that you could just, and as much as people want to say that it's a downfall, you can't. They're gonna buy it anyway. You understand what I'm saying? They're not, whether they buy it from me or they buy it from something, they're gonna buy it anyway. But I feel like when I was out there, I never cut anybody's throat. I always made sure that my stuff was the purest and the cleanest it could be. So I wasn't giving you something that could kill you. You know what I'm saying? Unless you was overzealous with it. But I did things with integrity. And I think that's the reason why the Lord was able to show me that even though it might've been illegal by man's standpoint, it was legal by his, because the Lord says for you to put food on your table, to put food in your storehouse. He does not logistically say that we have to do it by the laws of man, because the laws of man are only guided under the laws of man. You know what I'm saying? It's a matter of how you do things with integrity. I wasn't out there stealing from people. I wasn't taking from nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't feel that anything that I was doing at that moment, I didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong, because everybody in my family loved me. They appreciated me. And I can tell you point blank, period. Well, my family don't like me to say, but I'm gonna be honest with me. My family stopped fucking with me when I stopped selling drugs. You know what I'm saying? They stopped answering my calls. They stopped coming around. They stopped doing all that because I didn't have the extra money to give them. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't come steal something out of my weed sack. They couldn't snatch money out of my drawer and I didn't notice. They couldn't do those things anymore. So no longer was I an asset to them. So it taught me very quickly that don't expect support from the people that you see in your close-knit circles, because they're your close-knit circles because that's the level of life that you're on right now. But as you start to excel, the Lord will start to strip those people away from you. And either you're going to be stuck there with them and not be able to elevate, or you're going to have to actually accept the fact that these people can't go on that ride with you. You know what I mean? And that's a hard pill to swallow, because along this way, I've lost friendships, relationships, you know what I'm saying? And my marriage just ended. And I don't feel bad about it. I'm actually happy, because when it did end, the blessings and the overflow that started to happen in my life and was amazing and tremendous, because I know that it was because of that was holding me back from receiving the blessings that Lord had for me. So you got to just be ready for it. You got to be ready for what's going to come, because being an entrepreneur, it's ain't nothing sexy about it.
Yeah. Nah, 100%. And you're so right. You know what I'm saying? Everyone goes through that. And that's another thing as well that a lot of times people don't talk about. But I think that's just powerful. You know what I'm saying? You make me think. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I've been an entrepreneur all my life, and I've had an entrepreneur mindset all my life. And I used to get very angry at drug dealers and people who sold, because I was like, why are you not thinking bigger? Like my mom died from heroin and shit, and like I used to always hate that shit. And I see some of my friends and loved ones, and it's just like, but you're right. At the end of the day, it's like they're gonna get the shit from someone, but it's like it's like an overall thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like an overall thing. Like, I used to just get so mad because I see so many other opportunities out there.
You got to think about it like this: the opportunities that are available to you are not available to me.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Growing up Black in America, the opportunities that you see are not going to be equivalent to the opportunities that I see. You know, and sometimes that's the only opportunity you see. If you're sitting in a house with no lights and, you know what I'm saying, roaches on the floor and the refrigerator empty and a baby crying, and your options are sell some cocaine or sell some ass, my choice was to sell some cocaine. I'm not going to sell my soul to receive a monetary gain, because I realize when I lay down in the bed with somebody, what I'm giving them is not just sex.
Yeah,
but everybody doesn't feel that way. You understand what I'm saying? So when I was growing up, because I was a child of a functioning addict, I saw that as a means of residual income. And it's not as if that's what I started off with. I mean, I've been a hustler since little. I mean, my first Thanksgiving, I had to cook at 7 years old while my mom was coughed up in a crack house. And that money came from me selling candy to my classmates. So literally, I went to school that day. I sold candy all the way until the end of Thanksgiving, so I can go to the grocery store, Safeway, across the street from the house. I bought a box of stovetop stuffing, a pack of hamburger meat, a can of green beans, and a can of corn, so I can cook Thanksgiving dinner for me and my two brothers.
Yeah.
So you can't think of it like that. I think you might have a little emotional attachment to it because of it was a sickness that was provided to your mother. But you also have to keep in mind it was a choice of your mother's.
Oh yeah,
It was not the
1,000%.
choice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a choice of a drug dealer does not become a drug dealer because they want to. A drug dealer becomes a drug dealer because they have no other option.
Or they feel they have no other option.
They have no other option. You can't say that they feel. Yeah. You gotta really get into it, bro, because in a lot of urban communities, the options are not out there. There's no jobs. You understand what I'm saying? You might have a parent that is completely unavailable and detached.
Oh, right. Because Zoom was hating.
Yes.
Zoom was hating. We back. All right. Which I don't know how they just let you do these two back to back. Like, don't y'all know? Don't y'all know what we're doing? But whatever.
You might as well just let it keep going.
Yeah, you might as well just let it keep going. Like, what's you just because you want to save me 5 minutes? No. I did that shit same thing about 2 months ago. I was on a Zoom thing and it was a really good episode, just like this one. And then it was like, you want to upgrade? I said, yeah, I paid like $40 or whatever the thing is. And then I canceled it. And then now it was like, hit me again. I was debating. I was like, do I hit the upgrade or do I just restart a new one? It's like restart a new one. Yeah. But, yeah, nah, so just to get it back, like, I just would, those were just my thoughts. And like, when I would see people doing it, what I would instantly just think is like, you're just killing people. Like that's in my instant, just, my thought is.
Oh, Big Pharma is killing people every day. The drugs that they gave to us as to sell illegally is the same drugs that they're giving to the patients legally to help them get off of it.
Oh yeah.
It's like they created the problem, they put the problem out there, and then they made themselves the savior of the problem that they created. So it's an endless cycle. And I think the bottom line of it is it all needs to be reapproached because it's not a war on drugs. It won't be a war on drugs. If we think about other countries, like look at Amsterdam. Amsterdam has a legal drug zone, and they don't have the type of criminal warfare that we have because they give you the rooms and opportunity to do it in a controlled setting, a comfortable setting, if you will. And that allows people to I think that half of the thrill of being a junkie is not the fact that you're doing the drug itself. It's the adrenaline rush that comes from knowing you're doing something freaking illegal. And that has a lot to do with it. If you take that out of the actual equation, it no longer becomes something that is taboo. It no longer becomes something that is a problem. It becomes something that is just maybe a vice, if you will. Because it can get out of hand, it can. But I've seen people that have gone years, 20, 30 years as functioning addicts, and they make it a thing that they do on the weekends, and Monday through Friday they're on the ball and doing what they're supposed to do. So
yeah, like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, like it was just a party. But everybody doesn't have that type of control when it comes to their actual physical being. And that's where it becomes a problem. But I think that the conversation and the narrative kind of needs to be changed, because if we keep looking at drug dealers as the villains, we're not actually fixing the problem, because they're not the villains in the bigger, larger scope of things. They're actually just trying to feed their family. Now, I can't say that for everybody, because there are some actual villains that are out there just doing dirt and don't care how it affects the people as a whole. But a person such as myself, if a person came into a trap house and brought me a piggy bank full of quarters, I wouldn't take it, because I know you were taking that from your child. I know you took food off of your table to have this. I'm not going to take your food stamps to give you drugs. These are the type of things that I did differently than probably my counterparts would do. You know what I mean? Or like on New Year's Eve, instead of me driving around house to house, I would host a party and make everybody that bought from me come to that location and stay there. So the whole night we would be together, and they would be partying, doing their thing. And I'd be sitting over in the corner smoking my joints, drinking my drink. But I didn't have to worry about them get arrested. I didn't have to worry about them getting pulled over. And the heat that they can draw that can be returned back to me, all that stuff was controlled. And these are different things that I did that put my business a little bit, and I call it a business because that's why I ran it.
Of course. Yeah, no, definitely it was, yeah.
But that's what set me apart from my competitors, because not only did I have the best thing that was available on the market, but I also provided you a safe space to do it without judgment.
So what do you feel like we need to do more of to actually just have other people that are doing that just see the bigger picture and to do different things. So maybe get them to more into e-commerce and to even just different things. Like that's just, there's so many things out there. So it's like, what could we do to spread that, to show that light?
That's what I focus my business on as far as my philanthropy acts is collaborating with not-for-profit organizations that help out the families, because I don't think people realize that criminal justice system just doesn't only affect the person who's arrested, but affects the family as a whole. And if there was more priority placed on the education or providing some sort of reentry programs for people coming back into society that taught them other skills, that showed them different things, or that even just taught them the things that they have knowledge of just personally. If they stopped the stigma and made people realize, made the actual criminal realize, I'm using their terms, that what they were doing, as a business, from a business standpoint, is actually running a business. And if a lot of people don't understand that, if you were able to be successful past a 50-pack, then you ran a legitimate business. And if you were able to take that same skill set and apply it to something else legal, imagine how far you will be able to go. But nobody says that to people. They just put that scarlet letter on you and make you feel like these are your options. You're going to go work for Burger King, or you're going to be out back in the streets. A person that's used to living a certain lifestyle is not going to be able to handle or even understand, interpret waiting for a paycheck on Friday when I'm used to cash on delivery.
Yeah, creating your own thing.
Exactly. So that's the different things. It's teaching them that there are industries that give you cash on delivery, or that you're able to cap out based off of your input. And those things are not being brought to the table. And I think if we start to fix that, then we could probably start to lessen the criminal intake. If people had another opportunity or even just imagine if you were as a child and you were encountering all the same things that pushed you into selling drugs, but somebody came and showed you, here, you can sell these boxes of candy and make a residual income. Or how about you buy some t-shirts and flip them? Or why don't you stand on the corner with a case of water and sell that?
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? But nobody's around to say that. And that's the problem. We need to start having more programs that are implementing things for prevention and also for the after effect that comes from behind it. Because unfortunately, we can't stop it from happening. It's going to happen. And as long as the government keeps producing this shit and putting it on the streets, it's going to
it's always going to be. Yeah. Hopefully we could lower the things, because all those things, like you said, like those are the things that always come to my head, is like, damn, like you could probably make more money selling water, like you could, like all that type of, like I sit here and I think of like millions of things that people could just sell and do. So that's when I'm like, damn, like when I think of things like that, especially with the drugs, and it's like, I just think like that shouldn't that be the last option,
Well, I want you to remember, in most places it was the last option. I mean, when it was the last option for me when I got to college, and I was given a full scholarship to get there, but I was so naive. I had no idea that you get your refund for all the money that you didn't spend on your tuition, et cetera, and that's supposed to be utilized for your books and your housing. I didn't have any idea about that. So when they sent the refund, they sent it to my mother's house. My mother, the way she is, she never called me and told me anything about it. So when they called me into financial aid and they told me I had $15,000 debt that I had to comply and finish in 3 weeks, you know what I mean? My immediate thoughts is, how am I going to make this money fast enough? And, you tell me what I could have did. And then nobody said to me, I could have just go grab some t-shirts. Nobody said to me, go grab some water. But my homeboy gave me 4 pounds.
Do you think though, now that's still the same conversation, even with social media?
Yeah. And that's unfortunate. It's probably even more so now, because the way that media portrays being a drug dealer as such a glamorous lifestyle. They portray being a street nigga as to be such a glamorous lifestyle, when in all actuality, it's not. There's nothing really glamorous about it. I mean, yeah, you get to buy your car and your clothes and all that stuff. But I can tell you what, if you have a personal heart-to-heart G conversation with the person who has the gold teeth and the cars on 22 rims with all the hoes, I can bet you they're the most loneliest person in the world. They probably sit by themselves and think about, you know what I'm saying? Does this person really care about me? Because I tell you for myself, the whole time I was in prison, I didn't have memories of the way that my money was spent. I had memories of the way I made my money. And a person who's successful in the streets, they're not making memories. You understand what I'm saying? They're not making memories that you want to sit down and reflect on. They're making memories about how to make more money. And unfortunately, those those avenues that it could be used in a way that's beneficial for the culture or for generational curses to be broken, those are not brought to the table. And that's fucked up, but that's just the way that it is right now. And I just pray that any platform that I go on, I always make sure that I tell people I am a retired street pharmaceutical representative. I have a DC number, because that somebody in the audience is going to listen to that. And if they're not have the same history that I have, they have a son, a husband, a cousin, a sister, auntie, somebody who's in the same situation as me and feeling like all hope is lost, feeling like ain't nobody gonna hire me, the jobs ain't paying enough for me to take care of my kids. None of that stuff matters, because you have something that a normal square individual doesn't have. You have hustle, and that's something that can't be taught. You know what I mean? Either you have it or you don't. Even people who actually out there in the street, everybody who's selling drugs ain't good at it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yo, Tay, man, what you got on this, bro? Because it was funny. The last episode when we really we talked about this. It was just me and you too. So,
oh, man, I was about to say. Well, she said it when she was talking about how how she took what she learned in the streets and used it towards her business. That's something that I've always said to people. That's one of the things that I've actually witnessed firsthand. Far as my dad, he was in the streets, when he was younger. But his reasons for being in the streets was more so he just wanted to make money. He didn't have to, because he had the type of life where he had both his mom and dad, lived in a nice house. Joe, where I showed you where my grandmother lived, the one that you met,
yeah, but the
that
chickens.
back in the day, that was like considered like the nice area of Durham.
Yeah.
So like it was like the neighborhood where everybody knew each other. So he didn't even have to deal in the streets and really get into drugs, but he did it because, I guess it was like the fast lifestyle and it was different from what he was used to. So, but when it caught up to him, he ended up getting felony charges and things like that. And I see him take that same mentality, and he started a business. That's when he started his auto shop that he ran for 9 years. And along with that, he has multiple other business, tow trucks, 18-wheelers and things like that. And I always said, a person that has been in the streets and started making that money, once they figure out a legit business where they can do it legally, you can't stop them. They're like probably the most dangerous person out there. And I always say a person that comes out of jail is more dangerous in a business, because he learns multiple ways to do a business illegally, but he learns how to put it in a legal form. And that way, he grows. So I've always agreed on those things. And, I've always seen it with my dad. And it's crazy, you guys actually kind of have the same backstory, similar backstory, to my dad and also to my mom. So I like you a lot. I think she's
Well,
really, I
thank
like you a
you.
lot.
Thank you,
I
buddy.
like you a lot.
Yeah, we need you around here more often, yo, because
Anytime, y'all just send me the link. I'm gonna pop in.
yeah, because like I feel you, and it's like I've always been like for me, I've always had two sides to that coin. Like I've always just known the hustle and everything, and I think because I know that's why I get angry, because I know that that hustle that you have in you, like not the person, what they could do if they turned it into like a brand. I get angry because I get angry at like just the limit, like being, I guess, like you said, not knowing, you know what I'm saying? Or just having that limited, if it's either, because sometimes people know and they just have a limiting beliefs and limiting mindset, or they're just not aware, not educated, whatever it is. So like, that's where I'm like, damn, I get angry because it's like, I know the potential. I know how it can just could probably taken to like 0 to 100. And it's actually one
But
thing
I think too is there's not enough people that are successful in business that are willing to be open and say that I am a former criminal. Most times people get their success and throw that scarlet letter underneath the rug so far. They pay so much money to get that expunged and all that stuff. They don't want anybody to know. And that was a big turning point for me. It put me in a depression, because people kept sending me all these motivational videos of different people that are in my industry, of people I'm supposed to look up to, but none of them had a story similar to mine. Everybody had a family that was supportive, or they came from a bloodline of entrepreneurs, or they had a husband that was supporting their dreams, or they even had a mother that would love them. All the stuff that they had that was working in their favor, I didn't have any of that. So there was no one for me to look at and say, you know what, I can be inspired by them. And it took a lot of soul searching for me to realize that I had to be that person. I have to be willing to step out on faith and be able to just say, this is my story. And I want somebody to hear it and somebody else to be inspired and know that this could be your story. And maybe yours could be better than mine because you had a chance to go at it and go for your goals earlier in life than I did. Because I could have turned a different corner a long time ago, but I didn't have anybody to believe in me and say that, you know, that I will take care of you if you fail. And even still at that moment, the person I was with, he didn't say that, but falsifiedly, I gave myself that vision that maybe somebody wouldn't let me fall. And it was just that glimmer of hope for that I had for those couple of minutes that gave me the gas to go. And once I seen that I could provide for myself solely based off of what I knew how to do naturally, no degree, no training, I'm self-taught, I can do this. It was over from there. And a lot of times people have these gifts that they just consider to be hobbies or they consider to be things of no acclimate, but people pay for everything. Everything. I mean, you never know what something that you're good at is monetarily easily for you to turn into a business. You just need somebody in your life that's willing to focus and show you that could be done. But unfortunately, people who are in those high-ranking positions are so scared of somebody else overpowering them that they don't want to share. And I'm not that way. And that's the reason why people got mad when I started telling them about the blueprint to retail. Because especially if you attended the class that I taught, I gave it to you blood raw from the beginning. I didn't hold nothing back. And even in the book, I gave you everything that you needed so you would never have to come back to me and ask me a question. Not because I was trying to just steal somebody else's thunder, but I think it's important for people to know it's very easy. Yeah. It's a lot easier than even my friend, I just met him and I was telling him about it. He's still in the streets and I sent him a copy of the book. God just told me just to send it. And the next morning when I talked to him, he was so overjoyed. He was like, you got to be kidding me. This can't be that easy. And I was like, yeah. But nobody said anything. Nobody told me that it was just that easy. Even when I was in the middle of doing it, everybody around me kept telling me, you're taking the hard way. You know, it could be so easy for you. You could just take the money under the table. Nobody even know. And no, I still did it. I still did it the way everybody told me was the hardest way. And come to find out, it's fucking easy.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed as a Black community, we as business owners and entrepreneurs, I've noticed that we don't do much of sharing our knowledge. It's something that I've noticed that's starting to get better recently with everything that's been going on, more so since the George Floyd death. Mm-hmm. And that's when you start to see the Black community start to come together, try to lift one another up. But that has always been one of the things that I always said about, more so the Black community. We're so busy trying to bring the next person that's getting up down because we don't want to see them up instead of just helping one another. I always use the example as far as the Hispanic community. If you look at their household, it might be 2-3 families in that one house, but they break everything down and split everything up that way so they can make it work. That way, 2 families and they have kids and everybody's splitting up the bills, mm-hmm. 2 dads and, 2 moms in the house, everything's getting split up. You're only paying $200, maybe $300 a month between 4 people. And that makes it easier as far as bringing groceries in the house. When you go grocery shopping, you split it up 4 ways. They help each other out. And you see the Hispanic community, they have all these different grocery stores, all these different banks that's starting to pop up, especially more so here. I don't know how it is, up north in different parts, but I know here in Durham, it's a bank that just popped up. It's 2 Hispanic grocery stores that's here. But they got a little area, I call it Little Mexico, because it's like nothing but Hispanic shops up and down the street. But it's because they're all helping one another, which is something that I've always said that we as a Black community should do, because it'll make things a lot easier, because we're always looking at someone to point a finger to why we're not where we want to be, instead of looking at ourselves as a whole, as a community, and saying we're the reason why we're not getting anywhere because we're too busy trying to compete against one another versus helping.
Yeah, and that's basic science of it is group economics. And mm-hmm. I completely agree with what you're saying. What we have to keep in mind is we are only 3rd or 4th generation outside of slavery. And unification was not something that was instilled in our culture for a long time. We are just now starting to understand the metrics of economic warfare. We're starting to understand how the laws that are still in place today that keep us at a disadvantage. So I understand that, and it definitely needs to be put into play. But it's unfortunate that so many people had to die in order for us to realize that these things are necessary for us to be respected and for our lives to be taken with the same type of accountability as our counterparts. So with that in mind, we have to now start to create an infrastructure that will be suitable for our children to take forth. Like a conundrum always says, that we right now are sitting in the shade of the seeds that our ancestors planted. So it's important for us to not just sit in the shade and enjoy the luxuries of it, but actually to plant more trees. And unfortunately, we had 2-3 generations of people that were just trying to float below the radar. And the main goal was to just get a good job. So in all actuality, getting a good job is another idea, or if you will, synonym for slavery, because you're still helping to build somebody else's empire as opposed to understanding the metrics of building your own. So until we have the opportunities for us to have vertical leverage in all different forms, we just can't have that as a Black culture. But what needs to change is people need to stop using clout as a reason to help someone, and instead do it because of the right thing to do. If people just start helping people because it's the right thing to do, instead of looking at it as an opportunity to post something on Instagram, then we might have a little bit movement forward. But unfortunately, a lot of the leaders that are coming out right now are just simply looking at this as a means for them to promote their initiative or themselves or their brand and move themselves forward, and not realizing there's people that's been boots on the ground way before George Floyd died. You know what I'm saying? And myself being one of those people, every year I host this event free to the community. But what saddens me is that when I reach out to other business owners and say, what would you like to contribute? How would you like to sponsor? How do you want these same people that are spending money with you annually to know that you are human and that you take their problems into consideration when you're creating your price points, et cetera, et cetera? There's not very many businesses that are willing to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone is really trying to monetize. Even today I realized, Joe, you're gonna think this is crazy. So I was on Clubhouse today, and this is how anybody that monetize anything. They had a group that anytime a person entered, they had to pay the moderator, they had to cash out the moderator $5 to enter the group.
That's crazy.
What?
Yes.
People are really doing this on there already?
It was a $5 entry fee. And then on top of that, inside of the group was called buy ladies a drink or buy ladies lunch. So the group was men was going in there sending women money to buy them lunch, but still had to pay $5 to get in the group. I was saying, people took something that's used to grow businesses and learn something, and now it's like as soon as they get a chance to take it and twist it and fuck it up for everyone else, that's what they do. That's
what we were saying right before you got in here, Tay. When we first started, because we connected on Clubhouse, and it was just like, we know it's not gonna last too long. We kind of got in early. Like I got in mid-October, and it's like every day it just keeps getting. That's why even with Tay, when I told you when you got, I was like, bro, take advantage of it now, because in a couple of months it's just gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it seems like people are not being mindful about who they're inviting in or what their reason for inviting them in is, because it's no longer becoming a place where you could actually conjugate and learn. People come into the rooms where we're actually dropping jewels, and they'll come in there and just scream blatant, nasty terms out. I mean, it's crazy. But at the bottom line, if you go in there with a firm idea of what you're coming out here to do, and you're strategic about it, you can really come up on some really big opportunities.
Yeah. I was checking out all of the different, after the Elon Musk thing, I was looking at all of the different people that's in the stock market and all the different business owners and things like that, just trying to find different motivational things and follow a couple groups, just because I was like, this is something that I can really listen to. During my day, I haven't really taken the time to sit and really play with it. But the past couple of days, I kind of did. I would go in a couple rooms and just let it, just kind of see what it's about and see how it worked. And then once I kind of got used to it, then last night I heard Elon Musk thing, and that's when it really kind of opened my eyes. It was like, okay, like if he's willing to come on here, I'm sure there's other people in here. And Joe would tell you that he'll tell me something 1,000 times before I finally listen to him. kept telling me the same thing over and over and over, and now finally do it after months. But once Elon Musk was in there, and I was like, you know what, I do need to, I need to take it serious and really get in there and listen. And I learned some really cool things by listening to a bunch of different people talk, a bunch of different business owners that's in a place that I would want to be in my future. Yeah, so if you go in there looking for the right things, you'll find it. But if you go in there looking for bullshit, of course you're gonna find it.
Oh yeah, it's out there. It goes back to the parable of the weeds. The weeds have to be in a garden for the garden to flourish. You just have to remember how to pick them out.
Word. It's funny. Yeah, I tell Tay all the time, but I don't give up on it. I tell him a million times, like, yo, Clubhouse today, going Clubhouse today. Eventually he gets it.
Yeah, man, he be on my ass.
Man, Clubhouse can grow your followers really quick. You know what I'm saying? But I just think you got to be careful because there's a lot of a lot of chiefs in there, not very many Indians. So you got to be you got to be ready. Prepare your elevator pitch before you even open your account.
That's why I made a video about that. I don't know if you saw my reel. I made a video on how to basically do that because I was hearing people that just did not know. I mean, a lot of people don't know, and that's cool. That's what I do. I do entrepreneur coaching. So it's like, I just was like, all right, I need to do a video to teach some people. Like, you just got to go in there.
It's amazing how a person will go in there and be like, I was just, but I didn't even have, but I was just thinking. And you know what I'm saying? You tell me about your cousin was sleeping on the floor, but you sell bath oils. Like, how did this have anything to go with each other?
Yeah. I mean, I give them credit for doing it. It's just like you said, some people don't know. You know what I mean? Like, if they don't know, they don't know. So I think it's so powerful that you do the vision board stuff because you probably don't even know we do vision boards as well over here with Therapy Without a Degree. Because of COVID, we've had to slow it down a little bit, but we were doing vision board events every week. So every week, what I would do, I called the Wings and Visions. So what I would do personally, I would actually bring the people to Applebee's and I buy them free appetizer. So any appetizer they want, preferably wings. So buy them appetizer and then we make a vision board. So we go over goals and we basically create the vision board. We basically do it's pretty much like a consultation. We go over everything, figure out what they want on their vision board. And then if we have time, we'll either actually make it right then and there, or we set up another time, or sometimes I'll even make it for them, send it to them, and then I teach them how to add to it. So yeah, I do that on a weekly basis.
Oh, so were you doing it virtually now?
Well, now we slowed it down because of COVID. Obviously.
Nothing slows down. Don't nut monkey stop no motherfucking show, bruh.
It's
you
have
a Zoom account. You have a Zoom account, so you need to start doing it virtually and doing it that way. So that way you can still continue, and you can even open up a commercial account with Uber Eats or DoorDash or something like that. You can send them gift cards.
The wings.
Yeah, you can send them a gift card that they can use to order whatever they want off of there, and you could turn it into more of like a cognitive experience, if you will. Do you have a Facebook group for these people or something like that?
Yep.
Okay. So do you guys do anything else to help with crowdfunding visibility?
With what? Which you said? Which visibility?
Crowdfunding your visibility.
Well, we do crowdfunding for a different project. I'm not sure exactly what you.
So we'll talk off air.
Yeah, we'll be talking about something else. Yeah. But I do have to do more of the virtual stuff because, with this whole pandemic, everything is still now is like, it's still going to be virtual for a while.
Yeah, all that. For sure.
Yeah, we pretty much we stopped doing it once obviously everything started. So, but this virtual stuff is getting the hang of it. I'm an in-person type of guy.
Well, I'm telling you, you can still have that personability when you're doing things like that, and it's about that pivot, bro. You got to have that strong pivot right now, or just be sustainable. You understand where I'm coming from? Especially with what's going on in the world. And if you've already got a tribe built up underneath you, it's time to flip the switch and start the monetization. So I used to host business groups privately to help people with growing visibility and understanding the metrics of social media and how to make sure that your page is getting some views, some counts, so you can grow fast. So we could talk offline and that's why I had to learn how to code because I built a couple of bots and shit.
Hey, gotta do it. Like I said, I'm on just a very, very beginner level with it. Once I saw in Shopify that you can, I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be another thing I'm gonna have to learn. Because I'm
It's
not
not as hard as you think it is. I tell you what, and if you have a strong network of people, I'm certain you have people in your network that can handle each facet of it. You just have to start doing a little bit more niching, like breaking it down, so that way you can see how each person will fit into the dynamics of what's going on.
Yeah, that makes
I'm
sense.
at 20%.
Okay, yeah. Nah, we could run this all day, but I know you probably gotta go. You probably got things to do, unfortunately, not just like me, just like a potty for hours.
Oh no, I put you down till 7:30, so we good.
Okay, all right, we good. But yeah, man, yo, Tay, any last questions, man, for her?
No, it was dope just listening to her story. Like I said, she reminds me of both my mom and my dad. She has parts of both of them in her. So I was just listening to her story, and listen to the little gems that she was dropping. I'm about to get this book. So
Okay, now.
um I need your Instagram. I get it offline though. But
Right here,
I'm gonna
KGoody
need
Designs.
Hey,
okay. I'm about to follow
Branding
you
is
right now.
essential.
yes.
I'm about to follow you right now.
Yeah, send me a DM so I know it's you, and I'll follow you back.
Okay.
Because I don't follow back everybody. It ain't because I'm bougie. It's how your algorithm is controlled by who you follow and who follows you. So some of y'all stuff, when I go to your page, you got shit on there I just don't want to see on my timeline. Okay? If it's not going to motivate me, or you know what I'm saying, going to add some value to my life or anything like that, I don't even want to see. I don't care about your uncle. I do not care about you getting your body did or none of that stuff.
Yeah,
I don't need that on my timeline.
You can follow me. I'll take a look at your new body. They can follow me at Joe Fucarino _
Send nudes.
yeah, my brand Send Nudes. I still can't believe I created that brand, but fuck it.
Listen, dude, if you didn't trademark that stuff, because there's all kinds of people who are using that slogan, Send Nudes, they're using it. Like,
oh yeah,
I
no, I've been on it because I've been on it because I knew it was a hot one. Once I thought of it, and I was like, oh no, it's a wrap.
That's what people don't realize. If you think of a catchy phrase, just buy the domain. Just buy it. It's an investment that you definitely, because somebody's gonna think of it too. And when they get ready to open up their business, you can charge them whatever the fuck you want for that domain.
Yeah, and people don't realize that people don't realize that it's pretty cheap.
Yeah, you can buy a domain for $1. You can buy a domain for $1 if you $1.
Yep. That's what they did to the when the Washington Redskins wanted to change their name. Somebody had bought up like 4 or 5 different names that they wanted to use. So they had to go through him. They had to go through this random person just to buy that name so they can change their name. So they wasn't even able to change their name this year because they got to wait.
Yeah, this is a whole business. People actually, that's their business model, is to buy hundreds of domains to wait for somebody else to ask for them. So that way they can charge whatever trumped up price they want to charge for them. Especially if they're hot things. Yeah. Everything's for sale. Everything's for sale.
Last thing, what's your superpower?
I slay, and that is my superpower. I am KGoody, the natural hair guru, and when it comes to the coils, can't nobody check me. If you want to find out about me, you can find me on Instagram at KGoody Designs, on Facebook at KGoody Collection, everywhere else, KGoodyCollection.com. That's a double K.
Fire. Let's go. Also, at the end of the show, we usually just do something. We do a little shout out, something that you think is dope. Could be a TV show, could be whatever, a book, anything that you feel is slept on, right? So I'll probably have Tay go, I'll go, you go. If you could give you a little minute to think about something.
I got some. You ain't even got to think about it.
Okay. What you got? What you got? Talk to me.
Let me tell you about my sis. Okay, she has the Goddess Talk app. She has the Goddess Talk network, and she has Afroganics. This woman is a serial entrepreneur, and she is slept on in so many different favors. She is one of the first Black women to have a network to open on the Roku channel, like the Roku device, whatever you call it. Yes. So if you are a content creator and you're looking to have your stuff exposed to be seen on TVs all over the country, you reach out to her, the Goddess Talk network or the Goddess Talk app. The Goddess Talk app is a platform for Black-owned business owners. It's like a shopping mall of anything you could think of. Everything is Black. She is for our people. She is for the culture. And when I tell you, this woman is a person you want to have in your back pocket when it comes to doing business in the African American community, for sure. So check her out. Goddess Talk Network, Goddess Talk app, or the Afroganic. She also handles fulfillment. I mean, this woman's got 100 things going on. But I tell you, God was just so good to bless her in my life as a friend. And any chance she gets, she atones me. So I'm going to atone her and what she's got going on. And I pray that anybody listening or looking, y'all check her out.
Word, yeah, definitely. And send me her IG too. I definitely want to check her out. And we know a lot of people, that's working on films and whatnot. We're actually working on a show ourselves. We're working on a web series. So we're transitioning. But
she's looking for content creators, and you guys can have it right there on the network. You know what I mean? She ready.
Word, yeah, that's fine. We just filmed 2 episodes. We got 4 more to film for the first season. We're basically transitioning this podcast into a show. So all the topics that we've ever done. So like, for example, like this podcast, we talked about like the business, business credit, stuff like that. And then, your situation, right? Your story, right? Mm-hmm. So what we would do is we would create a script around what we talked about.
Oh, okay.
So we're going back from the beginning. So, I mean, we're at now 180 something episodes. So who knows if we ever get down this far, but we're starting from the beginning.
No, we take that back, start it over.
No, we will. You're right. Yeah, we will get to 100. Yes, we will get to 188.
Speak it.
That's a lot of episodes, though. What TV show has that many episodes?
Listen, so that means
too, right?
That means your 12-year-old daughter will be taking over the reins. That's all that you are building legacy right now, King. You are breaking generational curses. That's what's going on here. When you get to 188, which is my episode, you call me. I'm gonna be there.
Yes, let's do it. Yo, I am with. I'm hyped now. Now I gotta get to 188 so we can do this because this was a fire episode.
Exactly. Like,
are you gonna act it yourself? Or are you gonna be like your part?
Damn right. Or my daughter. One of my daughters. They both look just like me. So if it's too far down the line, if it's like 5 years from now, we can let one of my daughters do it.
Look at that. Let's pinky promise it in. It's done. It's happening.
I'm throwing it.
Yes.
And when the Lord says, when 2 or more agree on earth, it so shall be in the heavens. So now you got somebody agreeing and agreeing with the success of your show. And now you can't even pretend like you don't got a place to post it at because I just gave you the plug.
Look at that.
Look at God.
Where's my gunshots?
You need multiple gunshots.
Shit. Fire. Tay, what you got?
Oh man.
He's like, I can't beat that one.
I can't. But I'm gonna stick with what I was gonna say. I was just about to say, shout out to the show True Blood because I haven't been watching it in a while, and I finally. No. Shout out to my man Zane for sending my Fire Stick.
You got it?
Yes. So I can't even shout out the show. I'm gonna shout out Zane for the whole Fire Stick because when it came in, I found every show that I've been wanting to watch for the longest, and I'm about to start binge watching everything as soon as I get a weekend free. So shout out to Zane.
That's gonna be a while since you're an entrepreneur, sir.
I know. Look, I was trying to watch True Blood. I've been watching the first 2 episodes for the past 4 days.
Bruh, like I'm tell you what, the best thing you can do right now is geek the fuck out and get on it, because if you don't know anything, if you've been paying attention to the market, e-commerce, it's gonna boom like hell because we're gonna get shut down again. So you need to make sure everything is in play, get your website up to date, and start marketing right freaking now. I'm telling you, when you get the book, you're gonna see the art of the pre-sale. You can start selling right now before you even have your inventory, bro.
Let's do it.
Yeah, 6 months of focus can change your life. Just fucking focus, bro.
Let's do it. I'm about to get
flex
that
bomb
shit.
For you. Fire. Yo, do you watch any Eric Thomas?
No. Mm-mm.
You never heard of him? No.
No.
I have to send you him. You might like him.
Okay.
Damn.
I love learning.
He's more of like he's motivational. It's one of those, but it's a motivational speaker that is actually relatable, and also he's religious as well. What about Inky Johnson? I
heard the name before. Yeah,
Inky's real good as well too. Just really good speakers that I think you would, just by the things you say, the quotes you live by, I think you would really, really enjoy it.
Pour into me, King. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Pour into me. This is not going to be our last conversation.
Not at all. Nah,
for sure.
Nah, we got to get you. You have a lot of value to add, so we definitely got to get you on the pod more. And yeah, I'm gonna give his shout out was to Zane, our co-host. That's another thing. You got to meet our other two co-hosts because we have actually 4 of us.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, there's 4 of us. It's just like I
I
said.
noticed there was a couple people in the email. I was like, was I supposed to be somewhere today?
No, yeah, that's just everybody. Because I send the address so they, the GPS can tell them what time to leave and all that fun stuff. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out to Jaylene. She's working on something super, super creative. Like I said, that's my daughter. She's painting like a mural thing in her room. She was just bored. We were FaceTiming. She was like, I think I'm gonna paint on my wall.
You know, I'm just gonna say it. That's some white people shit. Because ain't no nigga child gonna call their mom talking about they gonna paint on the motherfucking wall.
Nah.
The conversation that's gonna happen behind that is not gonna be, okay, go for it. No, that's not what's gonna happen.
You know what's funny though is her mom is very Dominican, and I thought her mom was gonna say no. But and I was like, fuck it, you can. You know what I mean? Like you could just paint over that shit. And
I got a whooping for cutting up one of my old outfits and making a new outfit when I was a kid. I will not forget that ass whooping I got about cutting up an old outfit and making a new outfit.
Hey, we'll talk more. They're gonna cut me off. It's on less than a minute, so any second we're gonna be out of here. But it's been fun, yo. Everyone, go follow KGoody.
Yes. Follow. And Joe, thanks for having me.
No problem, yo. Peace.